Welcome back to another edition of Streamertopia. We're going to go ahead and continue the episode with BBXH. This will be part 2 of 2. If you missed part 1, go over to streamertopia.com and look for BBXH. Adam?
So in part 2, talking to BBXH, we're going to talk a bit about her esports history, also talk about some of the charity streams she does, and also a lot about Sea of Thieves. So again, we hope everybody enjoyed part 1, and part 2 is just as much fun. We had a great time, and back over to you, Eric.
Yes, absolute fantastic time. Hope everybody enjoys it, and we'll see you at the end of the video. Take care. So the donuts, I mean, yeah. I'm imagining why you like that, but I like those too. But so why the donut theme? How did that all come about?
Okay, so people always think that I'm crazy obsessed with donuts, and that's how it all started, but it actually is not. It actually started because when I was first streaming, and people would come into your Twitch channel and they would ask you, "Oh, well, how can I donate to you?" And I would tell them, "Oh, you can scroll down." And I was trying to tell them there's a donate button, but I said donut instead of donate so many times. I don't know why. So I was like, I'm just going to make all of this a donut theme and go with it. And that's
I think you just said donut why.
Yeah. Right. Donut, no why. Still doing it 4 years later. Okay.
D.
Yes.
You showed something the other day. You got it from that website, ETSY, Etsy.
Etsy. Oh yeah.
Are you serious? You don't know what Etsy is?
Well, no, you know.
I wasn't
come on, man.
I wanted to make sure I pronounce. No,
we're saving that clip
with him. Yes.
God, ETSY.
Okay.
Jeez.
Okay. So do you know what I'm talking about? You showed it the other day.
Yes, nerd propellant.
I don't know all what I was talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Okay. All right. Okay.
So. I don't know if
I think there's like a specific piece that he's like, you have to see this, Adam, because he's
okay. I'll grab the ones I grabbed the other day.
Okay.
You're gonna freak. Yep, that's it.
Is that an explosive barrel?
It is. It's a mega keg.
A mega keg?
Yeah.
Oh,
so they make these.
That is so
such
awesome.
A cool job.
That is so freaking cool. I have to get that.
Oh, there's so many items I don't have yet that I want. They make Athena chests, and this was also the one I showed the other day, the Stronghold skull, and it has a battery pack in it, so you can light it up.
That is so cool. You got this off Etsy?
Yes. The guys that do it are Nerd Propellant, and somebody in my stream had bought something from them, and I did the same thing. I'm like, where'd you get that? Hold on.
These streams are costing you a fortune, Eric.
Yeah, I know that. What is this?
So Pina Colada actually made me this.
Oh wow!
Yeah, how crazy!
Awesome.
He made this, and then we had we had people that were hanging with us sign the back.
Oh, that is so cool.
That is cool.
There's Pina Colada.
2 of them signed it with a little pineapple slice, and he put a pineapple on there. Yeah, he made that.
Wow, he's an artist. I didn't know that.
Yeah, handmade. He carved it all out. He painted it himself, the whole thing. Same thing with the Twitch one. Actually, BB, your name is on this one.
Oh, really? Oh, the 17 one?
Yeah. Here it is. And it's got all the names of everybody we hung out with that year.
That is so cool.
So,
I know.
Okay. Well, I just want to say that, D, I'm really proud of you, girl. Like, you've worked so freaking hard all these years. And all I see is that you continuously push yourself forward and you keep moving on up and doing so many amazing things. And the one thing I really love about you is that you've always been a very genuine person. And I don't know, I could always just go and kick it back with you and have a drink and just chill, you know? And that's what I love about you so much.
Thank you so much. I mean, that means so much because you've known me. There's so many different years and different games and hardships and everything. And so I feel the same. And I feel like when we chatted last year, whenever that was, I feel like it's just like you pick up right where you leave off sometimes. So I love you so much.
Yeah.
This is so fun.
You guys have like both, you know, Adam and I hang out in both of your chat rooms, and you guys both have a very extremely positive vibe. And it's not, it's just something that you guys bring to the table with your personalities, and you're both excellent streamers. And so Nikki, how do people watch you?
What do you mean?
Twitch.tv
/Azuki. Okay. It's like with their eyes.
With their eyes, right? Okay.
With their eyes.
After going to ECSY. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna change that question. Jeez.
Okay. Sorry. Sorry.
Uh,
Twitch.tv/Azuki, AZUKI.
okay, all right. So please, from Adam and I, say hello to Pena. We would really appreciate
And for
that.
me.
Yes, I will.
All right.
Much
All
love.
right. Be good. Thank you. Thank you for coming
Thank
on.
you.
Bye, Nikki.
Bye.
We're back.
What a fun surprise. I had
Great.
obviously no idea. 'Cause
Yeah, that's how we like
that
it.
was so
I was like,
fun.
I wonder if she's gonna tell her. I don't know.
No, she didn't. I had no idea.
That's good. That's good. I don't think we've had, we had special guests. I don't think anybody's blown their cover yet.
No,
Well,
and I
that's
gotta.
good.
Yeah, no, it's everybody respects it, which is really cool. And I don't think we've ever gotten through that many questions. Just FYI,
Really?
you guys were blazing.
Yeah.
Oh, good. There was only two that really I feel like caught me. The sports one and the podcast versus music one. Those were really hard.
I'd have a hard time with that one too. I love a good podcast.
Yeah, that's my jam.
Yeah, it is. I do like, especially when you just find one that's right up your alley. It's awesome.
Yeah.
So one thing we always ask streamers is the mental fatigue. I mean, you always come on with positive energy, but it's got to get, I'm sure that there's days where you're like, oh man, it's gonna be a tough day, but you don't show it, but just
Yeah.
talk about the mental fatigue as a streamer a little bit.
Oh man, I feel like it's one of those things because of that. Because if you have this performance face, this poker face, people don't realize sometimes the mental fatigue that it has on you. I mean, I can't tell you how many times people are like, "Oh, streaming looks so fun, like a dream job. I'm gonna do that. And I'm like, I feel like try it. Just try
Sure.
it and see, because like it gets hard because I do feel like it's a job where you have constant comparisons to your competitors, so to speak, and you have numerical constant competitors between followers, concurrent viewers, social media following, all these different things, and that can be very mentally taxing, and I've definitely had my times with that. On top of that, you have an open live chat room that's on the internet, so people can come in and say things, and obviously you can moderate chat, but it doesn't mean you don't see the messages. And it's been hard. I will say I had to grow a thick skin when I started streaming, because I've always, I think my whole life, been a sensitive person. Like, I hate making people mad or upset, and I hate, like, when people are rude. Obviously nobody likes that, but I don't know. I've grown a thick skin from it. I've had times where I get off and I've cried from things that people have said or things like that. And I'm not that way now. You learn to cope with it, and you learn to not take things personally. And until you kind of can get over that hump, it can be hard for some people. And I do think that you have to have a good balance between life off a stream and your life on the stream. Like, hence today I knew, okay, I'm gonna be on Twitch. Drops is so beneficial for the streamers channel, but it is a lot of work as well. And so I knew, all right, I got 5 days coming up, and I just did 5 days in a row of doing this, so I'm going to take a day to just kind of, it's my day to catch up on adult things, but it's also a day to step away from the computer, to step away from it. And I think that's the things that, like, sometimes, like, I just started playing Hearthstone again, which I love. I haven't played it in a while, but I've been playing it off stream. Like, I played it today, and the other day somebody asked me, well, why don't you stream it? And I was trying to explain, like, this is something that I like to do right now in my free time.
Yeah,
and as soon as I bring that onto stream, you can't just sit there and play and be in your own thoughts. You have, I mean, whether you like it or not, a game like that, like, people are always going to be backseating you, or It's a game where you make a mistake, people say, oh, you should have done this, you should have done that. And sometimes you just want to play without somebody telling you that. And
Criticize
so
it. Yeah.
yeah, without being criticized, you just want to play. And if you make a mistake, like whatever, you move on from it, but without it being called out. So I think ultimately you just have to give yourself a balance and be committed to your schedule, but also be committed to your mental health of giving yourself breaks from it and not feeling that pressure to be on all the time, because it really is important. It makes a difference.
I'm sure.
Yeah,
It's got to be really hard.
I relate streamers to like salespeople, because you have to be on,
Yeah.
a certain amount of time. It's not like your subs are just going to reappear. It's like you got to sell your channel constantly every single day. And I I thought about streaming, and then I just realized, like, you know what? I play games to escape.
Yeah.
And that's what I do. And I was thinking to myself, just like what you said before, it's like, who would watch somebody play a game?
Yeah.
I watch more Twitch now than I play games, and
Yeah.
it's so relaxing to me to watch somebody else play a game and to get to know their community. It's just like this completely satisfying thing that I never thought I'd be involved with. And now we're interviewing streamers. I mean, it's like
Yeah.
gotten this completely wrapped up, and I love it. I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
So you mentioned this before with esports. Can you bring us back into what was your involvement with esports? I know that you said Clash Royale and the Royale Smash League, and then what was your involvement with the Nova Esports? I saw them come up a couple of times inside of your Instagram.
Yeah. So I worked first and foremost, the first esports team I worked with, they were called Hammers Esports. And I never, for Hammers and for Nova, I never was one of their competitive players. I was always on their esports team as a content creator. And with Hammers, it was, I guess, about being part of a team. And I have so much to thank for them because they did a lot, but they started getting into Overwatch and other things. So that's why I moved on to Nova Esports from them. But I mean, big shout out to them. That's why I have this chair, because Hammers back in the day was, or maybe they still are, I'm not sure, sponsored by DX Racer, which is awesome. So those are like some of the perks from it. But then I started getting really into the esports side of Clash Royale. Like I said, I started hosting tournaments, and then I started casting tournaments. I mean, at one point, it was almost every day I was hosting and casting at least one tournament, just doing the shoutcasting on my own from home here. And they would have these different leagues that people would put together, which was really cool and gave people a platform to compete. And I loved it. It gave me a lot of experience. And then Supercell, the game company, started doing their own in-person tournaments. So that was a really cool experience for me. They did, it's called CCGS. And so I did that in 2017. I basically lived out in LA for chunks at a time. Filming this, I did their spring and then fall season of 2017. And then from there, they did the CCGS World Finals in London. So that's probably one of my proudest moments of all of my esports gaming career of all time, was hosting those World Finals. I was just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm here. It was just a really cool experience for me. They had it at the Copperbox Arena where they'd hosted the Olympics. I can't remember what year it was, but they'd built it for the Olympics, which is pretty cool. But from there, the people who owned and ran Nova Esports knew me obviously through the community and other content creators, and saw me hosting that. And then that's when we started working together as a content creator for them, hosting tournaments or different events with them. Most of them all were online, but that's kind of pretty much what I did with them. And it was a really cool experience. And I stayed with them until I switched from Clash Royale.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, that just sounds, I think if anybody went through that type of experience, you'd be like, okay, yeah, sign me up. I'd
yeah,
be like,
it was awesome. I loved it so much.
Wow. That is fun. So have you ever had a situation where outside of the gaming community where you're, I don't know, walking down the street, going to a restaurant or something like that, and somebody recognizes you?
Only during those events. When those events were going on and there was people in the area for the game that happened, the only other time that something has happened, they didn't come up to me. I was out playing Top Golf with friends.
Oh, I love that game.
I know. I just actually took some actual golf lessons 2 weeks
Oh.
ago. So that's maybe my new hobby. We'll see.
There we
But-
go. All in.
Right.
Set of
I'll-
clubs.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll at least be good at Top Golf now. But anyway, so this person then came into my stream or sent me a DM, whatever it was, the next day, and they were like, "Oh, were you at Top Golf yesterday?" And I said, "Yeah, I was." And they were like, "Oh, I definitely saw you then." I'm like, "Why didn't you come say hi to me?" Of course, they were like, "Oh, I was too shy." I'm like, "You should always just come say hi," you know. So that's been the only other time.
All right. Well, it's coming. It's coming.
Yeah.
We'll start recognizing you on the street. Sorry.
That would be crazy.
Would you like that?
I
You
think
want the-
so. To some
yeah?
extent, yes, but to some extent, I feel like you maybe then feel like, oh gosh, like I can't hide, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was we did that. That was a Ninja or Pirate question we've had before. Fame or power?
Oh yeah. Right.
You know.
Ooh, wow, that's a
Yeah.
doozy of a question.
That always yeah. Whenever we have that in there, that's the same reaction we get from everybody. Oh wow. I
You're like,
don't know.
whoa.
I think we took it out because it takes too long.
They're like,
yeah.
let me think on this one.
10-second delay.
Details.
Yeah. So what do you think it's contributed to your success so far? The most thing.
Wow.
I know it's a very open-ended question, but
Yeah, but I think consistency is more important than people realize. Kind of like what you mentioned earlier, the fact of if you're not on and streaming, then you're out of sight, out of mind. Like people are gonna go to other people's channels when they want to watch Twitch if you're not available. And I always tell people it's like watching a TV show. I mean, now we stream most TV shows whenever we want to. But think of the days when it was scheduled TV shows, which still some do. I always use Game of Thrones. I loved Game of Thrones.
yeah. Me
But
too.
You like the ending of it?
Eric too.
no, I hated
Okay.
it. I was so sad.
I know.
But
Me
everything
too.
else before that was great.
Yes. Yep. Agreed.
So, but it was every Sunday night or 9-10 p.m., whatever it was. And so because you know, okay, my show was coming on this day at this time, I can plan to be there. But it's kind of like I tell them, imagine if they just said, oh, it's going to be on one day this week, then you just never know. You can't plan for it. It's the same thing with streams. If you're consistent with your time and tell people this is when you can expect to see me, then people will show up because you've told them this is when I'll be here. And especially if you can do, I know for some people that's not possible yet to do a consistent schedule because they have work or family or other things going on in their lives. But I feel like the more consistent you could be, the better it is because people will show up. And I feel like I've grinded. There have been times where I am so tired, or especially with drops, for example.
Yeah.
I mean, if people think, I mean, it starts at 5 a.m. I don't have to be on at 5 a.m., but I feel like it's smart. I mean,
Yeah,
if you're there at the start and people, if you know, 5 a.m. Eastern are ready to go for their drops, if you're available for them, they're gonna come to you. It's as simple as that in my mind. But you just have to be willing to do things you don't want to do, like get up at 4 a.m. and get yourself ready to go. And this is like before when I started, I worked a full-time job and I know there's so many other people out there. So I give mad kudos to them because I know what it's like and working 40 hours and you've worked your 8-hour day. The last thing you want to do is get on camera and be like, hey guys, let's play some video games. You know, you want to chill and relax. But if you can push yourself through those hard times, like just, I feel like, and realize it's temporary, it's not forever, then you will see success from it. And I feel like that's been, something for me is just grinding through those hard times and pushing myself with that consistency and that time on camera.
Sure.
Mhm.
Yeah. I appreciate the drops, by the way.
Oh yeah, me too. Man, it's so much help for us streamers and brings so many people to your channel. So
It's such a great idea.
it really is.
I watched you in
Win-win
that
for everybody.
that TwitchCon interview
Oh yeah.
your awesome voice that day.
Oh no, that was so. I was so sad. My voice was gone. That was the last day,
I know.
and I
It's
was like, "Hello." Ah.
So did and I don't want to jump too far ahead, but with Sea of Thieves, did they recognize that this was going to be like a dream for streamers? Is that what they set this originally up for?
The drops.
Yeah, the drops. I mean, did they go in knowing that they were going to do drops and to pull in streamers and to, I don't know if you ever got into that conversation earlier on.
I did. So their first drops were August last year, August 2019. It was the Obsidian Cannons actually, and it was a 1-day thing. And
I got those.
yeah, a lot of people miss them, and I don't think they've been available since. But So I will say Sea of Thieves are so good to their streamers, and they realize the value that is working with their streamers. Not all game companies realize or do that, but when you do, man, I feel like it's a win-win for both. And
Oh
that's
yeah.
just such a powerful marketing tool nowadays as content creators. I feel like we see that all the time on social media. That's where I see ads now. I don't watch TV anymore. I don't see commercials, but I certainly see ads on social media, right? So
Yeah.
but anyway, so when they did the first drops, and I actually, because you get your Twitch stats at the end of every stream of, and it'll tell you, oh, you have like in this much increased viewership compared to your last stream, and this many subscribers, and this and that. And it was just so exponentially different than a normal stream doing that Twitch drop day. And I screenshotted that and I sent it to John McFarland, the Sea of Thieves dev. And I'm like, look, I just want you to know that this is what drops has done for me. And this is how it has affected my channel in a crazy, insane, amazing way. So just letting you know this. So
That's
and I'm
awesome.
sure others shared the same, and they realized, okay, this is bringing a lot more people to the game and to Twitch and overall. So I think they realized like, okay, this is a good thing for everybody.
Yeah. Well, I think early on too. I mean, Sea of Thieves never had like I know I learned a lot of Sea of Thieves just by watching streamers, because
Same.
early on there was no like instructions.
I know.
You know, the first time I jumped on there, my buddy's like, "This game's awesome." And I ran around for an hour. I called him like, "Dude, this game stinks."
We're like,
Right.
what do I? There's nothing to do.
How do I
Right.
get
And
the
then when he
sail
got out,
down?
I mean, I didn't know how to get the sail down, and then
I
he finally
know.
got on with me. He's like, "Adam, you see, you got to drive and let it." I'm like, "Oh, I didn't know you had to do all this." But now,
These
it's
are the beauties of streaming.
Right.
You can just be like, what do I do here? And somebody
Right.
be like, oh, you just got to raise your sails,
right. And then I started watching streamers. I'm like, "Oh, okay,
Yeah.
that's how they do that." And I still do, because I mean, there's so. We'll get into this Sea of Thieves conversation later, but I love this freaking game, man.
Yeah.
It's
I know,
awesome.
me too.
Yeah.
I usually look
like
at
that
Sea of
shit.
Thieves in the streams and I go, man, I'm not good. Every single time I think I'm good, I'm like, yeah,
No, we're
there's
terrible
like-
pirates.
Yeah, there's like, who am I? Oh, Kraken, Happy Kraken with her
Kraken.
her anchor ball. I was like, how the heck did she hit that thing way over
He's a
there?
beast.
Yeah.
See, that's those feels. That's how I felt watching people play Clash Royale. 'Cause if anybody doesn't know, like it's kind of like in the mindset of chess. There's you versus somebody else, and it's very strategic, and there's all these things behind it. And it was like I watch these streamers, I'm like, oh my gosh, I will never be that good at that game.
That's how I feel watching pretty much any game.
I was awesome at Pong.
Okay,
so
way to date yourself there.
So you do these charity streams, and I've the Jimmy Fund, which was recent. I saw you read The Wizard of Oz at SaveTheChildren.org. I thought that was just so awesome, and I just want you to talk about what those things mean to you as a streamer and why you get involved with those things.
I feel like if the thing is with Twitch is you really do have so much outreach, and it is such a great vehicle to bring awareness to different charities that you support. It really is. And because you just do have that outreach to people, and even that's why I feel like even smaller streamers that have, and they feel like, oh, my viewership is nothing like that. But just because that's your viewership doesn't mean like people are coming in and out of channels all day long. So I feel like people's reach is so much greater than they probably even realize. And so if you do support a charity, it's just a great way to, in a big way, to get the word out to people, and to sometimes to people that have never even heard of the charity. And I had a great time working with Dana-Farber. That was my first time working with them in the Jimmy Fund. And then Save the Children. They're honestly they are so special to me. I've worked with them so many times, and they're just wonderful people that work there. And I actually at TwitchCon a few years ago, I did a charity event. They do these kind of silly on the Tiltify stage at TwitchCon, these charity events. And I don't know how, but they invited me to compete. And I had to it was a sandwich making contest, and you got kind of like a hard way to you had to make a hot sandwich, and everybody had different tools to make it based on, results of a game. So you had a teammate that would play Smash Brothers, and how well they did was what you got. Like the person with the worst had to cook with like a clothing iron, and the first person got like a nice George Foreman grill. And I had
We
to
know
cook.
how good you are at cooking.
Yeah, here's paprika.
Mine was really bad. I had pink horseradish. I was like, I've never heard of this. It looks like a fuchsia pink. It doesn't even look appetizing. I was
It's
like,
awful by
oh
itself.
man,
Yeah.
it really was. But anyways, they would pair you up with a charity, and then depending on how well you did, you could raise money for your charity. And they paired me up with Save the Children. But I will say the people that worked there came to me backstage before it went live, and they introduced themselves and said, hey, we just want to tell you a little bit about the charity that you're going to be, competing for today. And I really appreciated that they took the time to do that. And they do so many wonderful things. And I just felt that instant connection with them. I fully support everything that they stand for, everything that they do, because they do it domestically in the States and internationally as well. And so I immediately wanted to work for them, and realizing that there is just so many things you can do that are unique as a streamer. Like I've always tell people have donation incentives. Like I'll never forget one time at DreamHack, I did a charity stream with Save the Children, where I can't remember for however much donation I would do push-ups. I did so many push-ups just
It's a
because
bad
people want.
commitment to make.
Yeah, I was like, I have made a mistake. People just want to bootleg you, but you have that ability because you're live. It's on the fly. It's instant, where you can do these things that it doesn't cost me anything to do a push-up. It stinks, but I'll survive it, and it's totally worth it. So I just think that it's so unique with Twitch because you're live and on the fly, and so can provide this entertainment in exchange, for them showing love to a charity.
Very cool. Very cool.
Thank you for doing it.
Yeah.
Every single time I see it, I love watching it, and I just love when people do good things and it affects other people in positive ways, and you can see it, and it's good. It's good.
Good feel.
So, yeah, exactly. Adam.
So we're going to ask you the hardest question.
Okay.
All right. That everybody has it. Well, maybe it won't be so hard. Some people shout it out pretty quick.
Okay.
You need to name your top 3 favorite games of all time.
Okay. All right. So, this is a little hard.
Told
Between
you.
2 of them. All right. So, I'm going to say my first love, what really like my staying up till like dawn playing game was EverQuest.
Oh,
okay.
And I was so involved in it. I just loved playing it. And that was my first love for. I have so many games like that, but I think I played that. It's a tie almost between that and Diablo 2. But I think EverQuest takes the cake for it.
And so you never got into World of Warcraft then?
I never did until like a few years ago. And I just don't have that nostalgia feel, I think. So I just haven't gotten bit by the bug yet. I never played it. I played Diablo and EverQuest, but never WoW.
EverQuest probably taught you a lesson. Then they used to call it EverCrack. EverCrack. Yeah,
EverCrack, yep.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm sure. But Diablo 2, or not, did you say Diablo 2?
Yep.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Yep. I just started playing it again this year, just for fun.
Yeah.
Feels exactly the same. I'm waiting for Diablo 4.
Have they said something that it's coming out?
There's no date. They just had some kind of update that came out. Somebody mentioned the other day. I hadn't looked into it. But I feel like I won't get my hopes up for another few years. So that's one.
Yeah, that's one.
And then I feel like I have to say Clash Royale because it was my streaming baby. That was the first game I streamed that got me my start. It got me. I had opportunities to work in esports, which really is just, I love doing that so much. If I could do that every day, I would be very happy. But so Clash Royale, I will forever hold a place in my heart. And then of course Sea of Thieves, because I feel like that was Clash Royale started my stream, and then I feel like Sea of Thieves has taken me to level into so many new places and to a new level that I've never reached in my streaming career before. And I just love all the people in the community. It's just such a cool community. And I always say you can go to like anybody Sea of Thieves stream, and you will know somebody in there. You'll pop in there and say, hey, and then, different people, are like, oh, hey. And I see that for everybody, not just streamers, like people that come into my chat as viewers and they say, hey, and then 3 other people are like, oh, hey, so-and-so. It's just it's a really close family, and I appreciate that. So Sea of Thieves is my third.
Those are 3 very good choices.
Thank you.
No, do you have an N64?
No, I was a Sega girl. We never had
Sega.
Nintendo.
You're Sega
That was
Genesis.
another Ninja or Pirate. Sega or Nintendo.
I would say
Yeah.
Sega Genesis. That was
That
our
was an-
first console.
I was a Nintendo kid. I always had Nintendo.
Yeah.
And I always wanted a Sega.
I always wanted a Nintendo.
Sonic runs so much faster than Mario.
That's right.
You know.
Yeah. Well, so are you playing any other games? Your Hearthstone?
Yep.
And are you playing any other games?
The other two that I'm liking right now, like I said, I've played Hearthstone for even before I was streaming, but I'm just so on and off with it. It's just kind of like whenever I'm in the mood, but I've been obsessed with it lately. Another game that I do that exact same thing with is Brawl Stars, which is another Supercell game. But I'm not playing it right now. Other games that I'm playing, I really love Phasmophobia. Have you guys played Phasmophobia?
You guys have great reactions on there.
Yeah, we got some reactions.
We'll have to insert that when we do the video.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh man, that game
is scary,
freaks me out. It's terrifying.
I have it on
Man.
Oculus. I put it on and I got into the house and I heard something. I was like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm
It is
terrified.
creepy.
I played Emily Wants to Play, which is not even anywhere on the same level of scary. But I played that in VR and I was too freaked out. I was like, I'm not playing Phasmophobia in VR. I'm not doing it.
It's really, really, I mean, I'll admit, I'm scared. I'm a scaredy cat.
It's too immersive.
It is.
You hear them like in your ear. Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yep, I was like, nope, exit
Yeah,
stage left.
done.
I'm out.
Really-
And it's like
really
the
good-
entry level where it's even telling you nothing bad is going to happen to you. I'm like,
Yeah.
no, it's going to happen.
Yep.
It
Do you
is.
play
And
with a crew on that, or do you play by yourself?
Yeah. I
Okay.
hate playing it alone
Yeah.
because it terrifies me. But I did it. I challenged myself to play it solo the other day and it was just so terrified. I much prefer playing with friends.
At least you feel like you have some backup.
Yeah, like you're not alone in this house. Ooh.
Like
is
watching
creepy.
a scary movie by yourself.
Yeah.
It is really, really creepy.
Other game that I started playing too is because Alex. So he's another streamer, AL3X Alex, and he and I pretty much play Sea of Thieves together every day. But he comes from a competitive background in Halo, so he loves the shooter games, which I do not. But he got me to download Warzone. And so
It's fun.
on occasions, I've been playing Warzone. I am not good, but I certainly enjoy playing. And he's super knowledgeable. So I'll just ask a billion questions and he teaches me as we go. But I've really been enjoying it. So that's my only other one that I've been playing lately.
I jumped on Warzone. It's
Yeah.
fun. It is hard though. I mean,
Yeah.
just the people who play
Oh,
so much, you
I
have such a
know.
big leg up on the competition.
Yes.
You know, it's not like not everybody's on the same playing field.
Yep.
I'm just realizing Adam's got his Sea of Thieves shirt on, and I scrambled. I was doing the laundry thing, and I got NBA Jam shirt. So I didn't know if
I was close. She doesn't even like basketball.
Yeah, you're right. You're funny. So let's see. Let's talk about Sea of Thieves for a little bit.
Okay.
So how did you get into Sea of Thieves? What drew you to that?
Okay, so I pre-ordered it when it was coming out. I don't remember why. I think somebody had recommended it. They're like, "Oh, this is going to be a good game." So I pre-ordered it, and then once it came out, so I played it in the beta. And same thing like you mentioned, I'm like, this game is okay. There was like you go dig up a treasure back in the day, and then that's it. You go turn in, and there wasn't much more to it. And then as soon as they would add something new, like when they added skull forts or they added megalodon sharks, I'd come back and play it a little bit, but it wasn't my main game until I guess like 2 years ago. But what always drew me to it is the graphics. It's so beautiful.
It is insane. It is.
The water is incredible.
It really is. It's so realistic and it's just a beautiful game. So when I really I've gone through my ups and downs of streaming, and once I realized like I wasn't going to play Clash Royale a long time, I realized I need to choose a different game to play long term, and that was a big struggle for me. But I eventually landed on Sea of Thieves and was like, I'm just going to play this for a while. And I had played sometimes with other streamers, Burger Warrior 24 being one of them, and he convinced me and Josh to come to Guardian Con. And I felt like, man, like I don't know if I want to go or this or that, but Sea of Thieves is going to be there, so they pushed me and I went, and I ended up competing in their Battle for Orlando tournament. One of my main mods, Merlin JC, he lives down near Orlando, and that's where Guardian Con was. So he and I already knew we were going to team up, and then we found 2 other people to join us. And we actually, the 80 teams competed. This was an arena tournament when arena was new. And we ended up getting top 5, went against Burger.
Wow.
Burger ended up winning with Burger with his golden Xbox. Anyways,
Oh.
so but I ended up through competing in that, I ended up meeting the game devs, and much love to my mod Merlin, because when we were standing there talking to them, I feel like I would be too shy to ask, no joke. But he was like, so how does one get on the dev stream? For me, he asked for me, and they were like, well, what are you doing next week? And I am forever grateful for him that he asked for me, because then they were like, well, let's have you on the dev stream. And so just things started snowballing and like that. And then they were starting to create the partner program and invited me to join that for the startup of the program. And so then as I got to know them, and John and Joe, the devs, are just the funnest people to hang out with. We hung out with them at TwitchCon, and I feel like I was in tears laughing of just like being silly, just hanging out with them, not talking about Sea of Thieves, but just hanging out with them as people. I wish they live here, no joke. But yeah, so we had that bond as well. I feel like it just made me fall in love with the game and the community even more. So that's how I got started.
That's cool. Yeah, and I don't know if I've ever played a game as long as I played Sea of Thieves. Like, at least for me anyway.
Yeah.
It's always something new.
Well, the replay.
It's always something new to do. Always something to work on.
Yeah, I mean, all these updates, and I mean, it's just, I think it's just one of the best games ever.
I agree. It's just, you can play it however you want. If you feel like going out and kind of PvPing and, going after people, you can do that. If you want to chill and fish, you can do that. It's just whatever you want to do for the day. And I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's very sandbox.
So repetitive. Yeah.
Yes. It is. So what's your favorite thing to do on there? Collecting gold, the blooms. I mean, what?
Oh, definitely.
It's hard to pick. I know that, but
I'm going to say PvPing. I mean, there's just nothing quite like it, because Alex said this the other day, the guy I stream with, like when you get in a battle and there's just so much chaos going on. My favorite thing is honestly when there's so many different ships, like let's say 3 or 4 ships, and we're all fighting each other. Like nobody's anybody's friends or ally. It's all out brawl. I just live for that chaos. Like
it is chaotic.
It's so chaotic, and I love every minute of it. Like you got to be listening for borders. Is your ship sinking? Do you have cannon shots? And I just absolutely love that chaos. It's just so fun, and it gets your adrenaline going. So that's what I love. It really does.
I love patching holes, and I'm in the middle of patching it. It blows out again. I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
I call it the PvP shakes when you're PvPing, and you get like kind of like shaky a little.
Yes.
There's the sweats, PvP sweats, shakes, swears.
Yes. No doubt.
I saw, this was yesterday's stream, I think, and you were in Alex, and it's AL3X. And I think you were with Josh, I think, but you guys did something like that caught my eye, and I got to tell you what happened. So I went into Alex's stream, and I didn't know him that well, and so I'm watching him, and he's like, basically kicking ass and taking names. He's like, go ahead, uninstall the game, guy, because you're going down. And I'm like, wow, so he's that kind of pirate, and I'm like, okay, I'll give him a try for a little bit and see what his deal is. Well, then I realized what was going on. And do you know the story?
Oh yeah.
Then I'll let you kind of go into it, because I was happy that you were doing what you guys were doing.
Yeah. So we just had run into some people, and I mean, we're going after them as, just pirates going after you. We knew that they had treasure, they had loot. So I feel like it's fair game then. If you have something that somebody can steal from you, it's fair game. The point of the game. And they started using people called gamer words, just racial slurs, homophobic slurs, things that are just not acceptable at all. And I honestly didn't even realize it first, because I don't have in-game comms, so I don't hear other players. And one of my teammates, he doesn't use voice comms, but he will type, and he uses soundboard, but he was typing things, like quit the game. And I'm like, why are you saying this? Like, this is not in character for you. And then they told me, and I realized, aha, I see what's happening. So we just, I felt like if you're going to act like this in an unacceptable way of using these terms as a way to tell somebody that they're lesser, it's incorrect, and that's why. And I mean, he's just somebody that, like you said, I mean, he can just own somebody and wreck somebody. He's got that competitive mindset where he can really shut it down. So I don't know. That was just what happened. And we ran into him and they ended up quitting out, which I feel like, get off the game. Like, we don't need you in this game. Like, because like Alex was saying, like, you don't know who you're going to, we could be just a bunch of kids playing the game. And here they are, using these words in game. And if a kid hears that, like, they don't need to hear that.
Yeah.
And then I know that it went. I think that you guys sent it over to Sea of Thieves, which is the right thing to do. And just from the community, thank you guys for policing the seas.
Oh yeah,
it's serious, but you're absolutely right. I don't want any of my kids hearing that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It would draw them away from the game. Adam, you just went blur. There you are.
There I am.
So,
sorry about that.
No, that's all right. And so I saw that you mentioned Burger Warrior. Did you guys it looks like you've met each other or see each other frequently, like in real life.
Yeah. We would like to more.
Yeah.
He lives down in Georgia. So we first met at Guardian Con, and then, which was, I guess, last year. And then he and his wife were doing kind of a road trip up the East Coast, and Josh and I live here in DC. So we said, come stay with us for a night. Let's go. We'll show you
cool.
DC. So we went and we rode the little scooties that you can rent, and
That's cool.
we rode all around, kind of like where the monuments are, and just had a really good time.
That's
and
cool.
then this not too long ago, about a month ago, me and then my husband Josh, and then Burger and his wife, and Alex and his fiance, well, they were there. They hosted us where they live in St. Louis. So all of us got together and hung out. And that was my first time meeting Alex in person, which is such a funny world because he and I play together every day pretty much. And but we finally got the chance to meet in person. So that Josh and Burger have like some kind of special bromance. So he wants to hang out with him whenever he can.
By the way, just talking about, I hope that I see your name on coffee. That would be so cool.
Oh, me too. I hope so. I want to make a coconut one so bad.
Coconut coffee.
Yeah, come on. Don't knock it until you try it, man.
It's good. I'm all about stevia. They have like little liquid stevia drops. It's like a liquid eyedropper, and you boop, boop, boop.
Yeah.
I have a coconut one that I put in my coffee.
I've never had a coconut coffee. Hot coffee or cold?
Both.
Both. All right.
Yes.
Usually cold. I like iced coffee better.
Come on, you've had a donut with coconut on it and drank your coffee.
Yes.
It's got worse things.
Yes.
Right?
That's true. No, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying I never really, I guess I never thought of it.
Yeah.
So,
it was good.
but it makes sense. It makes sense. So, people are getting into Sea of Thieves. Okay. What would you tell them to expect? I mean, I know we've kind of talked about it,
Yeah.
because it's definitely, it's as open as you want it to be, I think. But what would you tell them, like, if they are getting into it, to what to expect, I guess?
Put your sail down.
Yeah. Put your sails down.
Yeah, and throw your anchor every 10
up.
seconds. Yeah.
That's so funny because people come in and ask all the time. They're like, "Oh, I just got the game. What's advice you could give a beginner?" And I always tell them the same thing. I'm like, keep your eyes on the horizon, but constantly, especially if you're solo, I always tell them you should constantly be looking around to see who's out there. Because I can't tell you how many times I've just been doing my thing, and then all of a sudden, boom, there is a ship right next to me firing at me. And
It's
I'm
so
just
weird.
Like, I know, they like sneak up on you sometimes.
How do they? I say that all the time. I say to my friends, I'm like, how do they sneak up? You're not going that fast.
I know. I'm like, how did I not see a full-size ship at any moment this close to me? How did I not realize until they were right there?
Yeah.
I don't know. So I tell them that, and I tell them don't trust anybody.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Trust a pirate.
Yeah, I know that Eric and I, one of our first stories was a lion's turned on us, and
Yeah.
no, but we got them back.
We got them back.
Oh, that is.
It's actually, I wish I have a picture in my head of what happened. It was the most epic thing that's, I'm not gonna say it's ever happened to me, but it was wonderful.
Yes.
So,
It feels so
Better than my
good.
wedding.
It does. It feels so good.
Man, that happened to me once. I was doing, before they had the tall tale checkpoints,
Mhm.
You just had to do it all the way through. And if somebody stole your items, like you had to start over.
Oh my
And
God.
I was
Stress.
doing one of them one time. I think it was Stars of a Thief, where you collect those red gems. And
Mhm.
somebody came and sank me and took my gem. And and I happened to see them. They were at the island that you have to go to, and went and nobody was on their ship. So I sunk them and I got my item back. And I'm like, I don't know how that happened, but this is like such a great moment for me. I feel so like, oh, justice.
It is. It is. Yeah.
So, you're connected with the Sea of Thieves, community. Um, what do you think is going to be next for them, or what do you want them to look at? I mean, they've done some incredible things.
What's next? Well, I think everybody is I think everyone has a little bit of mixed feelings about the battle pass that's coming.
Mhm.
For me,
I have no problem with it.
I have no problem with it either. I've played other games like Clash Royale and Brawl Stars. They did that a while ago, and I realized it just gives me more things to do and more things to work towards, which that's my style of gameplay. I like having things to work for, levels to work on, commendations to work on. So I'm excited for it, and I'm excited to see where this going down this route takes them. What I would like to see is I would just really love some kind of mermaid lore a little bit more. I feel like there's nothing that's really touched on that beyond the mermaid that teleports you back and then the mermaid statues. But I feel like it's just there's so much that could be done with it. I would also like just super maybe girly me, but I would like some more like luscious long hairstyles in the game. There's
Oh,
not
me
really
too.
thank you. There's not really any feminine. There's one hairstyle that you're like, that's definitely a feminine hairstyle. So I would just love some longer hair, which I feel like could tie in. You could totally do mermaid hairstyles, but I would love some kind of underwater, thinking like Atlantis or something with mermaids. And I don't even want them to be kind of like frilly frou frou mermaids. Like they can be evil. It can be other,
Just more
NPCs.
options.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Some
I
kind of
can see that.
underwater network. I think that would be awesome.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I heard a rumor that they might do like an ice, I mean, you got the
People are wanting, especially now with this Frozen Horizon outfits, everyone's like, is there an ice region coming?
that would
Right.
be, man, if they took that
Cool.
top right corner of the map and did
Yeah.
that would
That'd
be
be
so
fun.
freaking cool.
It would be awesome.
It would be really cool. No doubt. So talk about your community. I mean, you obviously have a great community. Just like thank them or however, whatever you want to do. You don't have to thank them if you don't want to.
Yeah, no way. Just kidding. No, I do like in it. Like I said, the Clash, the Sea of Thieves community is such a great community overall. And coming from Clash Royale, which is, if you think about it, like who plays free mobile games? Kids, right? If they don't have a console, they don't have a PC. Most people nowadays have a phone. So coming from, and not everybody was that way, obviously, but a lot of people are just more immature in that world. So to come from that, it can just be really hard and taxing. Like we were talking about the mental health earlier, that gets really hard sometimes because they just don't have that maturity level. Some of them sometimes, and we know how that goes. But with
Right.
the Sea of Thieves community, I feel like people are just, for the most part, they just want to help each other out. Like I feel like I have learned so much about the game from them, and I feel like if you as a streamer can be willing to let people in and be coachable, not that you're horrible at the game, but like let people tell you and teach you things. Oh my gosh, there's just so many things that people have taught me that still, like, even nowadays, someone will come in and say something. I'm like, I didn't even know that. And it's just so much information sharing. And I think, gosh, you could just really improve your gameplay from just small things you learn. Like the other day, like the Canon radial menu. When you're on the Canon on PC, you press Q and you can choose what cannonball you want without leaving the cannon. And when somebody taught me that, I felt like,
It's a game
wow,
changer.
it's a game changer.
Yeah.
And I had people come in the other day and were like, wow, I didn't know you could do that. And I'm like, see, information sharing. It's just amazing. But they really are wonderful people. And I feel like we all support each other. I do feel like it is a giant family and they've supported me so much. And I mean, I wouldn't be where I am without them at all. And I have my people like Pina Colada, for example. I mean, he's got such a long-term, he's subscribed to me for like 4 years, and
Wow.
people that have stuck with me through, my ups and downs, my different schedules, different games. And I'm just so appreciative to them, and people that come in fresh, especially during these drops. Like, there's sometimes that people, they don't even go on Twitch, but they're coming on Twitch, they're giving your channel a chance, and they realize like, oh, okay, like I think I'm going to stick around for this. And you just feel so grateful that they gave you that opportunity. to show you their content in the game. And so I'm just really grateful. And especially during all this COVID, man, I feel like it just saves a lot of us. This is our way to socialize
Yeah.
It's
with
true.
each other
I
and
agree.
keep our sanity. So I just appreciate them for that as well.
Yeah, and
Agreed.
I've never seen a streamer get so many, not the normal resubs, but I'm going to go ahead and resub for the next 10 months or something
It
like that. I'm like,
shocks me.
wow.
It
I know. I
blows my
saw
mind.
there was a 20-month sub. I was like, well, I
Yeah.
guess she's committed.
Yeah. It
It's
blows
like-
my mind. I'm like, wow, you're trusting in me to be, providing you content for this amount of time. Like, I don't know. It's just, I mean, that really
It's
warms
awesome.
my heart. It makes me
It
feel
is.
so good.
I'm sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you're talking about like learning things. When we had Nikki on the first time, I went over to Adam and I'm like, so tell me, have you ever heard of a banana bomb? And he's like, no. And so, just little things like that. Again,
Yeah.
we get so wrapped up in just playing the game, but the streamer element brings so much to it. So
Yeah. The little silly things to do like that.
yes.
Yeah. No doubt.
So we wanted to give you a little bit of a soapbox here, but two things. We're going to finish up here, and we appreciate the time that you've given us.
Yeah,
And
thank
stick-
you.
Oh, likewise.
And stick around after the interview. We got a couple more little questions.
Okay.
But this is your opportunity to thank, people that normally don't get thanked too often, and that's the moderators and what they do. So I just wanted to give you the floor on this and talk about the moderators.
So I just actually was talking to one of my moderators, Vitamin V, because I was doing a giveaway the other day, and I guess I had sent somebody the wrong code for something that I had already used. It was on my bad, and then she handled so much of that for me. And I was just said thanks to her, and it goes for all of my mods. Like, there's just so many little things like that. When you're on the fly and you're like, hey, can you update this for me, or can you do this? Can you do that? And I'm so like, you gotta have good people like that can help you, that you can trust, that know the flow, that are like, hey, let me do this for you. Let me take this off your hands. And I feel like you really need that, especially because sometimes there's just so much going on at once. And it can be like you are like, I feel like sometimes I'm on that edge of being overwhelmed, and they really can like reel you back in from getting that feeling. And I feel like nothing compares to that. So I am so grateful to all of my mods and everything that they do. They go above and beyond. They are always, I don't know, there's so many times that they'll be asking me, hey, do you want me to update this, or do you want me to add that? And I'm like, I didn't even think of that. I'm like, yes, please add that. That is amazing. So I'm so grateful to them for like thinking for me, thinking ahead for me, staying on top of people. And sometimes somebody comes in, they're like, hey, I'm brand new to your channel, and they are so welcoming, so they not only are they moderating your chat, but they're also welcoming people in. And sometimes you're in the middle of a fight and you can't welcome somebody in, and sometimes it is that split second of somebody comes in and says hi, and you can't say hi back, and they peace out. And so sometimes, like, the little things like that, the mod says, hey back, welcome, how are you, and it holds them in there until you can get to them. And so that's just, I feel like stuff like that helps you grow. So I'm just really grateful to all of them and everything that they do for me. They're really amazing.
Yeah, definitely. The room has a great flow to it.
It does. Thank you, moderators, for having a good flow. So everybody, we wanted to thank you for dropping by Streamertopia, and we wanted to especially thank BBXH. D, you have been an absolute pleasure. And thank you, Nikki, for coming in and spending some time with us. So my name is PapaNorse, and for Captain Heater and BBXH, thanks for joining us. We'll see you
Thanks
next
for having me. This was a great time.
Love to do it. Take care.